Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense, a New Year's program about a new year that may not be. Mr. and Mrs. Frank-Lovejoy, starring in an episode entitled The 32nd of December. This episode originally broadcast December 28th, 1958.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Tampering with time has been an ambition of man since he first realized how inexorably he is time's slave. At this time of the year, although we have even less time on our hands, time is much in our minds. We make a magic ritual of New Year's Eve when we suppose we can flush away all our past impurities and begin afresh at that magic hour of midnight on the 31st of December. But suppose we couldn't. Suppose the 31st of December were not the end. Listen then as Mr. Frank Lovejoy stars in the 32nd of December.
And now, the 32nd of December, starring Mr. Frank Lovejoy. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
New Year's Eve. As far as I was concerned, when I got up the morning of December 31st, it could stay 1958 forever. The only trouble is time doesn't work that way. Time is a downhill ride in a car with no brakes. You can't stop it even if your life depends on it. And mine did.
Joe, your breakfast is getting cold.
I'm coming. All I have time for is a cup of coffee anyway. What is this, milk? Don't we ever have anything but milk to put in the coffee?
You know we can't afford cream these days. We can hardly afford to eat.
Molly, you'll be wearing mink yet. Just give me a little more time.
Yeah, you've been saying that ever since you got married.
Well, sooner or later, Molly, I'm going to make it. By the way, honey, let me have your ring.
Why?
Well, you said the diamond's loose. I'll drop it at the jeweler's on my way to the office.
Oh, we can't afford to get it fixed now.
Molly, that's an expensive ring. We can't afford not to take care of it.
Joe, have you been gambling again?
Oh, now, Molly, I told you, I'm all through with that.
You told me the same thing just before you pawned your watch. And the cufflinks I gave you on our first anniversary.
I'm not going to pawn your engagement ring. Now, let me have it. I'll pick it up on my way home tonight.
Well, all right, but, Joe...
What?
Remember, it's very precious, at least to me.
Sure, I've been gambling again, and I was in the hole bad. The boys wanted to pay off by midnight, and this time they weren't going to take no for an answer. If I couldn't raise the dough on Molly's ring, I didn't know what I'd do. The pawn shop was like any other pawn shop. Dirty and gloomy, full of junk, with clocks ticking all over the place. One thing caught my eye as soon as I came in. In the front case, a watch, curiously ornate, obviously very old. It sort of glowed in the case. I couldn't take my eyes off it.
You like to look at the watch?
No. No, it's very interesting, but, how much can I get on this ring?
On this, I can lend you $150.
$150? The guy I won it off claimed it was worth more than $1,000.
$150.
I can probably get $500 for it easy.
Then you would be foolish to accept my offer.
That's the best you can do?
$150.
I'll take it.
I will get the money.
While I waited, I felt my eyes drawn to the antique watch again. I picked it up. It felt warm in my hand, almost as if it were alive. Its face was covered with all sorts of dials and figures. The date of the month, phase of the moon, even the signs of the zodiac. Some of the dials I couldn't read at all. They were inscribed with strange characters like hieroglyphics or ancient Sanskrit. suddenly I felt I had to have that watch.
100, 20, 40, 45, 150.
Can you tell me what all these dials mean?
I can tell you only that this watch controls many kinds of time. The fellow who pawned it claimed it could make time pass as slowly or as rapidly as he desired.
That's a pretty good trick.
Mm-hmm. But only a trick. Time is different for each of us, is it not?
What do you mean?
To men sitting on a hot stove, 1 second lasts forever. But to a man making love, forever is only a second.
Yeah, I see what you mean. How much are you asking for the watch?
$150. Excuse me. Hello. Yes, one moment, please. Is your name Joe Adcock?
Yeah, why?
Yes, Mr. Adcock is here.
Who is it?
Who is calling? Hello. Hello? That is odd.
Nobody knew I was coming here. Who was it?
He did not identify himself. He just said, I would not believe him. Then he hung up.
It's funny. Say, now what about the guy who pawned this watch? Any chance of him wanting it back?
No, Mr. Adcock. He will not return for it. He has no further use for the watch.
Okay. Well, then I'll take it. I don't know why, but I've got to have it. I had no business buying the watch. It was a crazy thing to do. I hadn't walked more than a few steps from the pawn shop when I learned just how crazy.
Hold it, Adcock.
Well, who are you?
I'm just one of the boys.
What do you want?
Little talk. Private. In the alley here.
But I don't have
In the alley.
Ow, my arm.
You got the grand, Adcock?
I got until midnight to get it.
Yeah, that's right. The boss just wants me to make sure you don't forget. Like last time.
Oh, I won't forget, I promise.
I'll be waiting for you at midnight, right here by the pawn shop. Oh, and one more thing.
So what is it?
This.
Oh,
That's just to make sure you don't forget. If you don't show up with the dough, there ain't going to be no New Year for you. You understand?
yes, I understand.
Good. See you at midnight.
I had to get back the 150. Maybe I could make a fast killing at the track with it, or something. I had to get it back.
Oh, back so soon, Mr. Adcock?
Yes, I made a mistake.
We all make mistakes. That is life.
Look, I've got to have that money back. Here's your watch.
My watch, Mr. Adcock? This is your watch. You bought it.
But I don't want it. I want the money.
A deal is a deal.
But you don't understand.
It is you who do not understand, Mr. Adcock. To sell the watch, you must find a buyer. I am not buying.
Look, you got to help me. Well, will you take the watch and pawn?
Of course. That is my business.
Well, how much can I get for it?
$5.
$5? Just a few minutes ago, I paid $150 for it.
It is unfortunate that I do not value it so highly now. $5?
No, thanks. $5 wouldn't help me. I had to have money, big money. My only chance now was to try to borrow it.
I know you've had an account here for years, Mr. Adcock, and of course we like to do what we can for our regular customers, but unless you have some collateral...
Well, what kind of collateral?
Oh, stocks, bonds, real estate.
If I had that kind of stuff, I wouldn't need the loan.
500? Joe, you're crazy. Hey, bartender, another beer.
All right, Harry. Make it a C note. Anything.
Yeah, well, what about the C note you borrowed last August?
Oh, I'll pay you back. Honest.
Yeah, I heard that last August.
Oh, Harry, how long have you known me?
10 years, I guess.
All right, 10 years. Doesn't that count for anything?
For a C note, it don't.
Oh, but Harry.
Oh.
Not a dime. Not a lousy dime. Only one thing left to do.
flower shop.
Molly, I want you to come home right now.
Joe, aren't you at work?
No, I'm home.
What's the matter? Are you sick?
I'm all right. Just come home and hurry.
Joe, what's wrong?
We've got to get out of town. Fast.
December 28th, 1958, the 32nd of December, an episode of Suspense on Classic Radio Theater. Two of our favorites here on Classic Radio Theater, Frank Lovejoy and Joan Banks, Mrs. Frank Lovejoy. Of course, Joan Banks known for her role in the My Friend Irma radio program for a number of years, and now we hear her in a dramatic role. The 32nd of December, an episode of Suspense from December 28th, 1958.
It took only a few minutes to throw everything Molly and I owned into suitcases. I kept looking at the watch, wondering when Molly was going to show up.
At the tone signal, the correct time will be 2:30.
2:30? What's keeping her? Well, at least the watch is on time. I wonder when I ought to wind it. Might as well do it right now. If I can figure out which one of these knobs to use. Try this one. What the devil? Where did the sun go? It was shining a minute ago. Now it's snowing. Oh, blasted, I did get the wrong knob. I moved it back to the 28th, so now I've got... Hey, wait a minute. The 28th was Sunday, the day we had the big snowstorm. Could the watch have... Ah, it's impossible. I set it back to the 31st, and I... What the... Now the sun is shining. Did the watch change the day, or am I losing my mind? Maybe I could set it again, test it. Let me see. I was in that pawn shop just before 1 o'clock. I set the hour hand back to 12:45. There. Now we'll see.
Hello?
Is this the 3rd Avenue pawn shop?
Yes?
Is Joe Adcock there?
One moment, please. Is your name Joe Adcock?
Yeah, why?
Yes, Mr. Adcock is here.
Who is it?
Who is calling?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. I could hardly believe it myself. But there was no question about it. The watch did control time. Once I'd grasped that fact, I began to realize its implications. For the first time in my life, I could have all the time I needed, all the time I wanted.
Joe. Oh, Joe, what's wrong?
Not a thing, Molly, not a thing.
But you said we had to leave town.
Oh, did I? Well, that's all over now.
Joe, what are you talking about? I'll probably lose my job.
No, don't get excited. Well, I might as well tell you the whole story. I lied to you about the gambling, Molly. I'm $1,000 in debt. I've got to pay off by midnight, but...
You pawned my ring, didn't you?
But now, don't worry. I'll get it back.
You lied to me.
I said I'll get it
You
back.
have no right to pawn it. It's mine. I want my ring,
All
Joe.
right, I'll get it.
Now, right now.
I haven't got time now. I've got to get back to the bank before it closes.
Get my ring, you promised.
Will you quit nagging me about your blasted ring? Let me get back to the bank. We'll have enough money to buy you a dozen rings.
Joe, what are you going to do?
I'm going to rob the bank. What else? I had the watch figured out right. Robbing the bank would be as easy as taking pennies from a blind man. It was 2 minutes to 3 when I walked into the bank and headed for the vault.
Oh, hello, Mr. Adcock. Back again, I see.
Yeah, I've got to get into my safety deposit box.
Certainly. Go right ahead.
Good. Nobody else in here. Now, I just turned the watch back to Sunday, the 28th. It worked. I'm locked in the vault, and it's Sunday. Now, let's see where they keep the ready cash. There it is. Stacks of it, and all mine. Well, that's plenty for now. Enough to pay the mob and more. There's always more where this comes from. Now, reset the watch to December 31st. Perfect. The perfect crime. All I have to do is get out of here without letting them see the money.
Mr. Adcock.
Yes?
A happy and prosperous New Year to you, sir.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. Molly! Hey, Molly. Molly, it worked. We're rich.
Have you been drinking?
No, not a drop. Here, look at this. Go on. Take them up. They're real.
Joe. These are $1,000 bills. Where did you get them?
I robbed the bank.
Oh, come on, Joe.
I always told you I'd make it big someday. Well, today is the day. Now, you go out and buy yourself a dress. We're going to celebrate New Year's Eve in style.
Happy New Year, Joe. Happy New Year.
Yeah, come on. Let's get out of this crowd.
It's almost midnight. I thought we were going to celebrate. You were going to take me to a nightclub.
Yeah. But first, I got to meet a guy at midnight. Come on.
Ooh.
A guy. I got to pay off that gambling debt.
Well, where are you meeting him?
It's just a block away in front of the pawn shop.
The pawn shop. My ring. Joe, you forgot my ring.
Oh, for Pete's sake. I'll get your lousy ring back. Just give me a little time.
Oh, a little time. That's the story of your life, isn't it, Joe? Just give me a little time. Well, all right, I'll give you all the time you want, all the rest of your life. I'm through with you, Joe. I just can't take it anymore.
Molly, don't leave me. Molly, come back.
Happy New Year.
Well, what happened? Molly just disappeared. The street is deserted. Molly! Hey, where is everybody? I wonder if this crazy watch had anything to do with the 32nd. It should have clicked over to January 1st. Oh, no wonder everybody disappeared. There isn't any 32nd of December. I'll just reset it. It's stuck. It won't budge. Oh, it's got to move. It's just... Oh, no. It can't be broken. I can't stay in the 32nd of December forever. I've got to fix it. I've got to get the back off. I've got to get it to works. There. But there's nothing inside. It's the 32nd of December. And it will always be the 32nd of December.
Suspense, in which Frank Lovejoy starred in William N. Robeson's production of The 32nd of December, written by Morris Lee Green and William Walker. Supporting Frank Lovejoy in The 32nd of December were Joan Banks, Barney Phillips, Sam Pierce, and Norm Alden. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Frank Lovejoy was in a number of soap operas in his time. He was also the narrator for the first season of This Is Your FBI. The newspaper drama Night Beat that was on NBC, and I hope I can find some better episodes of the program. And, of course, he was in the motion picture version of I Was a Communist with the FBI. And he had a lot going on. He did a lot of motion pictures, Retreat Hell, Home of the Brave, and Breakthrough. Now, his wife, Joan Banks, who was his second wife, by the way, and they were together until his death in 1962, she did a lot of radio, Bringing Up Father, Gangbusters, My Friend Irma as Jane Stacy, Valiant Lady, and Young Widder Brown, did a few small roles in motion pictures, and she was in the CBS movie Return to Peyton Place in 1972. She passed away in 1998. Suspense, the 32nd of December, December 28th, 1958, here on Classic Radio Theater. When we continue following these words from your favorite radio station, Cary Grant, the special guest on The Bob Hope Show. Mike Lindell, the inveterate CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Deep discounts on all MyPillow products, like the buy one, get one free special on Giza Dream Sheets. All MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Call 1-800-951-8175 or go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Use my promo code USA. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Francis Langford and Vera Vague in this excerpt of the Bob Hope Show, December 28, 1943.
Thank you. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob, San Diego Naval Base Hospital Hope. Telling you waves and nurses that as you go about your official duties, to use Pepsodent, and you'll never have artificial tooties. At the San Diego Naval Hospital. What a great reception I got when I arrived here today. These nurses took one look at me and came rushing to me with blood plasma and an oxygen tent. And I don't know whether these girls all got a chance to have dates over Christmas or not, but when I arrived, one of them said, "Look what's coming through the gate. Too little, too late." Yes, sir. They have waves here. You know what a wave is. That's a whack with salt water in her blood. And it's very hard to choose between the whacks and the waves, but the waves are very pretty. They must be. Anyway, it's the first time my drool ever had white caps. These waves come from every state in the Union. There's a lot of northern girls here and a lot of southern comfort, too. But these waves can't forget their girls. I saw one wave who had such long fingernails, every time she saluted an officer, she cut the medals off his chest. I called up a wave I used to know here, but I found out she's married now and has 4 little ripples. Not so funny, but it's cute, isn't it? And the girls here live in permanent dormitories and sleep in bunks. You know what a bunk is? That's a bookshelf with a mattress. Yes, sir. And it's wonderful in those dormitories. The service is like in a good hotel. Yes, sir. If you want breakfast in bed, you press a button and an arrow points to the nearest psychiatrist. Of course, the waves and nurses don't wear powder and lipstick when they're working. They're the only branch of the service that go unarmed when they're on duty and keep their heavy artillery for shore leave. And the waves here had a wonderful Christmas party. You should have seen it. It was the first time I ever saw a Santa Claus with legs like Betty Grable. And the girls did all right on Christmas gifts. I don't know what they got, but one truck turned over bringing presents down here, and in 2 minutes it flooded 7 miles of Highway 101 with Chanel number 5. The driver of the truck felt bad about it, too. He couldn't go home to his wife for 3 days until he got the dreamy look out of his eyes. Well, Frances, you have a nice Christmas?
Oh, just wonderful, Bob. And I can't thank you enough for your lovely present. It's worth more than $5,000 to me, and I'll treasure it forever.
Oh, it's a nice present, all right. I guess that shows you what kind of guy I am, Frances.
It really does, Bob. Gee, not many fellas would walk up to Frank Sinatra and pull his bow tie right off his neck.
Well, that Crosby will do anything for money, you know.
Oh, I meant to ask you, Bob. What's that tiny box you sent me that has stamped on it, keep in a warm place for 60 days?
Well, I just couldn't get you a pair of nylons, and the clerk said silk stockings were the next best thing.
Bob, you don't mean...
Yes, if those two silkworms know what they're doing. Say, I haven't heard from their agent lately, but I imagine. Tell me, Francis, did you like that party at my house Christmas afternoon?
Oh, it was wonderful, Bob. But there's a point of etiquette I want to make. At the entrance to the dining room, you should have had a butler.
A butler?
Yes, not a cashier.
Well, I don't charge my friends if they hold membership cards.
Are you going out New Year's Eve, Bob?
Yes, I'll have to try that. I'm going out if Professor Colonna manages to get a girl for me. Hello?
Same to you. Who is this?
This is Hope Colonna.
Who?
Hope Colonna. Hope Colonna.
Didn't know I had a sister.
Look, Colonna, I thought you were out trying to get me a date for New Year's Eve.
I am, Hope. That I am, and how I am.
Oh, Professor Colonna. Oh. Oh, Professor Colonna. Oh.
Colonna, I thought you were getting a date for me. What are you doing?
Holding auditions.
You get pretty good parts, don't you, huh? Colonna, what's the matter with you anyway?
Well, Hope, I never told anybody this, but the day I was born, I was dropped down 29 chimneys.
When you were born? When you were born, you were dropped down 29 chimneys? How come?
Stark had hiccups.
Well, look. Professor, get busy. You're supposed to be getting me a date for New Year's Eve.
Yes, Hope, and I've got one for you. She's beautiful, got big blue eyes and soft brown hair, and you won't have to spend much money on her.
You think she'll be a good date for New Year's Eve?
Certainly.
Moo.
You see? She'll even bring her own drinks.
Well, Miss Vera Vane.
Mr. Hope, and I'm so glad to be here. Oh, my goodness, girl sailors.
Yes, what about it?
Double-crossed me, didn't you? No, really, I'm very interested in these wonderful young waves and nurses, Mr. Hope. You know, I was once a nurse myself. Robert Taylor was my patient.
Really? Did you recover? Say, with all these waves and nurses in San Diego, Miss Vega, it looks like you'll have to take a back seat while you're here.
Oh, I don't mind.
You don't? Well, that's the first time I ever saw you willing to take a back seat.
Well, why shouldn't I? There's not a back seat in town that hasn't got a sailor in it.
Yes,
Mr. Hope.
You should know if anybody.
Quiet.
What'd I say?
Well, I won't repeat. I must tell you, Mr. Hope, I loved your Christmas party. Oh, goodness, all the eligible bachelors in Hollywood were there, weren't they?
Yes, but it wasn't a Christmas party, Miss Vague.
It wasn't? What was it then?
Well, after you arrived, it became known as Massacre Under the Mistletoe.
Oh, my, bless your heart, Mr. Hope. I wish Santa Claus had left you in my stocking. It could use a new heel.
Well, Miss Bank, have you made any of your New Year's resolutions yet?
Oh, yes, I have, Mr. Hope. 1944 will see a different Vera Vague. Cool, aloof, waiting for the men to come to her.
Well, what happens if they don't come?
It's back to the flying tackle again. But really, truly, I've made some wonderful resolutions. I've positively decided to quit whistling at men.
You have decided. You've decided to quit whistling at men, huh?
Oh, yes. It's hard enough to run them down. Why should I give them warning? Seriously, Mr. Hope, I've resolved to quit thinking about men so much.
What's that?
There goes my other ear.
Did this fall out of your nose?
I'm
sorry, it was my ring. It was my own ring. I thought it was there.
It's just my earring, folks. Seriously, though, Mr. Hope, I've resolved to quit thinking about men so much and take up some other hobby.
Well, have you thought about antiques?
Yes, but you just aren't my type. Oh, well, I don't care. I'll still take my boyfriend, Waldo.
Oh, Waldo, tell me, Miss Vague, how is that little drink blotter, huh? Is Waldo going to turn over a new leaf this year?
No, not exactly. He's going to turn over a new label. He wants to see what's on the back of old Granddad's picture.
It'll probably be him, Miss Vague. I'm afraid Waldo is getting in a rut.
Oh, Mr. Hope, Waldo never gets in a rut.
Waldo never gets in a rut.
Of course not. If he can't find a gutter, he just stays up all night. We had a wonderful Christmas Eve, though. I sat up with Waldo and we played gin rummy. I just died laughing.
I guess Waldo isn't very good at gin rummy. That's why you were laughing, huh?
Yes, I told him he was a pigeon. You know what he did? He flapped his arms and flew out the window. Of course, at that time, he was more ginny than rummy.
Hello?
Hello?
Say, Kelowna, you sound muffled. You're in San Diego, aren't you?
Yes, phone booth is underwater.
Yeah. Well, Kelowna, you're supposed to be finding me a girl. Where are you?
I'm in the burlesque show.
You're in a burlesque show? How are you getting me a girl there?
Got a bear trap on the runway.
Kelowna, 2 weeks ago you told me you were at a burlesque show.
I know, Hope, and I'm still sitting here.
2 weeks sitting at the same burlesque show? How do you explain that?
Gum on my seat. But I'm really here trying to get you a girl, Hope. Here comes one toward me now. What do you know? She's a Ubangi.
Kelowna, what makes you think she's a Ubangi?
Using her lower lip for a fan.
Stop fooling, Kelowna. Get me a girl for New Year's Eve. Just find her and bring her to me. She must be beautiful, blonde, about 5'2", and very, very affectionate.
Beautiful, blonde, 5'2", very, very affectionate. And when I find this girl, Hope, you expect me to turn her over to you?
Yes, Kelowna.
Always glad to meet a tourist.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, boy.
Jerry Kelowna with Bob Hope, December 28, 1943 on Classic Radio Theater.
Here's a great thing to consider doing right now before the end of the year. Call Metashare and find out just how much you would save by switching to Metashare, the affordable alternative to health insurance. When you call, you'll get some good news and probably be very happily surprised, too. The typical family saves $500 a month, but you might save even more. It's so worth it to at least find out. And you'll see why more than 400,000 people are already members. Metashare is a Christian community that's shared more than $4 billion in each other's healthcare costs. It really is remarkable, and they're very easy to talk to. And here's the thing. If you join before the end of the year, they'll waive your new member fee. That's another $170 you'll save. I'll give you the number here in a second. The call, and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 31st, so call now. You'll save even more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Just a reminder, if you haven't found our podcasts lately, they have moved. We have now moved over to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. So search in your podcast app for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, okay? Thanks so much for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater here on your favorite station. Now the conclusion of the Bob Hope Show starring Cary Grant, December 28th, 1943.
I have a special surprise for you. One of Hollywood's most charming and talented actors, recently seen in RKO's Mr. Lucky and soon to be seen in Destination Tokyo, and once upon a time, Mr. Cary Grant. Please, we have to talk, too, you know.
I want to talk. Say, Bob.
Yeah.
Do all these beautiful girls work around here?
Yes, Cary. They perform various duties around the hospital.
Around the hospital?
Yes.
You got an extra flu germ on you?
Look at the script once in a while, and we both have a fever. Look, aren't they cute? Be nice to have a couple of dates with them, huh?
Oh, go on. They're too busy.
Oh, they could find time to tarry with Cary.
Yeah, but they'd be wasting their time to mope with Hope.
Yeah. Say, I knew these girls here would like you, Cary. You're a real general.
What do you mean, general?
Well, you heard how Grant took Richmond, didn't you?
Yeah.
We'll wrap up San Diego, brother. It's yours. Hey, I've seen you on the screen, Cary. Tell me, how did you learn to kiss like that?
Practice, Bob, practice. Constant practice.
Yeah? What do you do with your old targets? Seriously, though, Cary, I've always had a lot of admiration for your technique in making love.
Well, it's nice of you to say that, old man. Come to think of it, your lovemaking technique has always fascinated me. It's provoked my curiosity.
My lovemaking has provoked your curiosity?
Yes. Where did you pick up such an unusual style of combat training? No, it's no use talking, Bob. Your approach is all wrong.
Oh, my approach is bad, eh, Cary?
Yeah, now, I've been practicing that Charles Boyer technique.
You have,
Yeah,
huh?
Now, for instance, when I meet a girl on the street, I remove my hat, bow low, and say, Vous êtes très jolie, vous êtes chic, vous êtes charmant.
I see. You just let the charm ooze out of you. Great. So that's the way you go about it, huh? Nice and slow?
Sure. You work too fast, Bob. Girls don't know what you mean when you run up, grab them by the hair, and yell, Boy, what a hunk of cheesecake!
Well, look, Cary, do you think if I had more polish, I could get parts like you had in Mr. Lucky? You played the part of a gambler in that, didn't you?
Sure, Bob. I'd bet on the drop of a hat.
Yeah, well, I once played a gambler in a picture with Dorothy Lamour.
You did?
Yeah, I'd bet on the drop of a pin. Say, Did you enjoy playing the part of the gambler?
Bob, gambling doesn't pay. Let's just show the girls what happens when two country boys come to town.
Oh, that's a swell idea. Wendell Niles will play the part of the gambler, and you and I will play the part of the two hicks.
Okay, Bob, but don't bother changing your clothes.
No. Stan, play a little gambling music. You know, something like All or Nothing at All. Anything. Well, here we are. Yes, sir, here we are in San Diego, boy. Sure is a long way from the farm, but it sure is exciting.
Yep. Sure would like to spend me some money and have me some fun. Yak.
Oh, no! He does it better than me. Say, you know, Lem?
Yep.
You know, Lem, I don't care for these here city girls.
Why, what's wrong? Don't you like their looks?
Not the ones they give me. You're not doing so good yourself, Lem. You need a shave.
I know. I didn't have a chance this morning. Ma was using the bread knife.
You shave with a bread knife?
Yeah. I'm kind of ashamed. We ain't got no good silverware. Yeah. You look bad tonight, Elmer. You're so pale. How come you're so pale?
You're not supposed to get a laugh. That's a straight line. It says right there.
Well, how come you're so pale?
Yeah. I'm so pale, I just finished milking and I ain't wiped it off yet.
Well, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Is that milk on your face?
Yeah, Bessie's getting too old to aim good anymore.
Gosh, Elmer, I sure wish we could find something to do.
Yes, sir.
Hurry. Come on in, boys. Try your luck on the Wheel of Fortune.
Gee, Willikins, Elmer, a Wheel of Fortune.
That's right. Step up, young fella, and let it blow the hayseed out of your hair.
Nothing doing. That's the only part that combs good.
Say, fella, where are the waves around here? Where are the waves?
Don't worry about women. Hey, you're a couple of smart-looking boys.
I'm smart.
I'm looking.
Hey, where are the waves?
Yeah, where are the waves here?
Hey.
Say, I can tell you're from the city, fella. You kind of smell nice.
Well, I can tell you're from the country. You kind of smell, too.
Yeah.
Hey, how about a little gambling, fellas?
Well, okay, but I'm warning you, though. Once I start to gamble, I don't know when to quit. It's just bang, 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 one quarter right after another until the whole dollar's gone. I'll tell you.
Oh, we got money. I'll show you. I'll open my wallet. You see, this is also where I keep my Kleenex.
Say, you seem to be a pretty intelligent fella.
Yep. In my class at school, I was a moron.
A moron? That isn't good.
Wasn't my class.
Well, we're wasting valuable time, boys. I'll deal the cards out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say, how about you? What have you got? I got 3 aces.
Oh, shucks. You just beat me out. I only got 2 pairs of kings.
Well, that's right. For a minute, I was afraid you didn't know the game.
Say, how about betting on something me and Lem's good at? Whoever gets the next wave that goes by to kiss him wins $10.
Okay, it's a deal.
See you in a few minutes, fellas.
Well, here she comes. Now, I'll show you how it's done. Hiya, babe.
Oh, you didn't do so good. Well, I'll try my luck. Hiya, babe.
Okay, Lem, now you dress up like a wave and let me win $10. Bob Hope and Cary Grant, December 28th, 1943, here on Classic Radio Theater. We thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our great show today. Of course, I had nothing to do with it. It was Frank Lovejoy, Joan Banks, Cary Grant, and Bob Hope that did all the heavy lifting. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, and contact me, classicradio.stream. Don't forget, our shows are also available anywhere you can find iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn. Just search on the internet for USA Classic Radio Theater. That's USA Classic Radio Theater. Hey, please thank this radio station and support their advertisers, and tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station.